Hi. Welcome back, everyone. Very good evening. Okay, so today being the second session of going ahead and having your offline GPT. So we would be continuing for where we stopped today. Just before going ahead and starting off with the topics for today, we'll do a quick overview about what all were the things that we covered yesterday, what we achieved. Okay, so yesterday we got introduced to something which is known as LLMs. Okay, what exactly are LLMs? Okay, we understood that all this chat GPT, Gemini, Anthropic Claude uses nothing but an LLM at the back end. Okay, so when they are going ahead and using the LLMs at the back end, sorry, just give me 1 minute, let me see. Yeah, is it any better now? Sorry about the audio thing. Now is it better? A quick confirmation. Yeah, thank you so much. Sorry, I just forgot to plug in the headphones and I was talking from the speaker. Sorry about that. Yeah. Okay. So we'll start from the beginning. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Okay. So yeah. So we yesterday we started off with LLMs. Okay, so we understood that what all you see, your Chat GPT, Anthropic, and Gemini, they uses nothing but an LLM at the back end to go ahead and understand your query in natural language, and then go ahead and respond in natural language to go ahead and do all the complex tasks which you wanted to go ahead and do. Okay, but we also understood that there are certain limitations when it comes to this LLMs. First, that they are comparatively costly, because yes, they go ahead and charge you on every token you go ahead and utilize. You go ahead and send the tokens, that is also chargeable, and you go ahead and receive some token from the LLM, that is also a chargeable thing. So alternatives for that could be to go ahead and develop your own LLM, but also that has a limitation that you would be having a lot of training data. You need to have a lot of training data, a lot of computational resources to go ahead and train them, and obviously a good I would say a very good knowledge about machine learning and deep learning. Okay, so there are like out LLMs available which are open source and you can go ahead and utilize it. All you need is a basic machine to go ahead and use them. We understood that comparatively that they won't be that much powerful, but yes, they can go ahead and fulfill the basic needs which you would be having. A basic level of generative AI, feel, is what they can give it to you. Understand the basic command, yes, up to certain extent, go ahead and solve some complex task. Okay, that this is what they may be capable of doing that. Okay, so we understood about one tool which is known as Ollama. Okay, we installed Ollama locally, and for me, I'll share my screen. Okay, just give me a confirmation when you would be able to see my screen. Okay, yeah, great. So now, as you are able to see my screen, okay, so I'll just quickly take you to Ollama interface. Okay, so this is what we did. We went it over here. So people who are there today for the first session, what you can do is you can quickly go ahead and download this Ollama thing. Okay, and we saw that there are some open source models available. We understood that what is the token count, what 1.5 billion token means, what trillions of token means, so what is a context window. Generally an introduction to what we were doing yesterday. We understood the what I command line interface. Then we used Postman to go ahead and see how the response come, and then finally I went ahead and show you a code snippet in which we discussed about that how we can go ahead and call this Ollama locally through a code. And as I did mention, from today it would be more of a programming thing, where we would be going ahead and developing a Streamlit application from scratch, which would be going ahead and calling your what I would say the Ollama endpoint, and we would be utilizing optimizing that and creating an end-to-end chatbot which would be going ahead and responding just like your chat gpt response. Okay, so this is what we would be building today. So for prerequisites for this would be nothing. Compiler will go ahead and do a VS code, or if you want to go ahead and write it in a Jupyter notebook, you can also go ahead and do that. Okay, then whatever the compiler you go ahead and use, that should be fine. Okay, you can have Anaconda or you can have directly Python installed on your system. Okay, I'll go ahead and show you step by step what needs to be done, how to run the application, what are the commands to run the application, and we would be writing each and every line of code in the session itself. Okay, sounds good, everyone? Yeah, collab can also work. Collab is also fine for me. You can proceed with collab as well. Okay, so today being the second session, so what we will do first is we will just go ahead and create a new file first. I'll go ahead and name it app.py. Okay, just by any chance, if you people won't be able to go ahead and write the code now, or you miss on any of the line of the code, okay, what I'll do is you would be having this thing in here all in one document. There I would be going ahead and uploading all the code which we would be going ahead and doing today. Okay, so you can directly get it from there. Okay, so to get start with, okay, it is very important that we go ahead and install one of the library which is known as Streamlit. Okay, so the command for that would be pip install Streamlit. Okay, so if you are using Anaconda, you can use this command in the Anaconda prompt, or if you are using command window, you can use this command in the command window itself. Okay, so we'll install this library after the installation of Python. Okay, so once for me it is already installed, that's the reason it is saying requirement already satisfied. For you it will go ahead and download all the packages and save it to the environment which is the base environment for me. Okay, so the first command which you would be running is pip install Streamlit. Will import all the libraries, all the required libraries. Okay, so Streamlit would be the first library which would be required. Yeah, you can use Jupyter Notebook. That is fine with me. That is not an issue. You can use Colab. You can use any compiler where you can just go ahead and write the code. You use that. That is not an issue for me. Okay. Okay. So majorly, this four libraries is what we would be using Streamlit to go ahead and create your user interface, the date and time library to go ahead and track the timing of the messages and everything. Then we would be using the request library to go ahead and uh, hit the Ollama API and fetch the LLM response and bringing back to the application is the reason we would be using request library. And the JSON library is to just go ahead and pass the JSON API input format and the output format of the API, which would be in the JSON format. So these are the four libraries which we would be using. Yeah, I'll zoom a little bit. Okay, this works now. This much zoom. Okay, so whenever you are working on Streamlit, first thing which you do is you go ahead and set the paste configuration. Okay, okay, you give a title to the page. What I'll give the page title as. Chatbot is what I'll give the title to the page. Streamlit, why Streamlit is used? Okay, so the answer for this could be this is simple, straightforward. Okay, it gives you a good UI feel. Okay, and the implementation of this is the code. When I would be writing of this, you it would be readable, you would be understanding the each and every line why it is meant for. Okay, and Streamlit cannot be used for end production purpose. It can be used for a POC, or I would say prototyping purposes, but it majority of the cases it fulfills all the basic requirement which you would need within an application. Okay. Okay, I'll give the title as a chatbot. Then we'll move forward, and we would be now going ahead and creating a session. So what is a session? So whenever a user send a message to the chatbot, okay, and conversation start, okay, the next question may be dependent on the previous question. We need to go ahead and store it as a session such that every question is saved within the cache, and it goes ahead and utilize it every time before generating the next answer to the question. Okay, so we would be going ahead and creating a session first. Okay, so okay, so default message that will come to the chatbot when we are not sending any messages is what you can see it over here. Okay, I'm a smart chatbot, how can I help you? Okay, so this is what would be coming as a default over there. Okay, and we need to also go ahead and check. So whenever you are defining the session, you will start from the beginning. So when you enter the page, okay, so at the time when you go ahead and enter the page, you will go ahead and see a default message, hello, how can I'm a smart chatbot, how can I help you? And then there should be something where which you can go ahead and type your query over there. Okay, so if is typing. Okay, so this is for the typing purposes. If the user is going ahead and typing anything, then we would be going ahead and refreshing it within the session as and when the text comes over there. Session state is to go ahead and maintain the session within the within the front end which you see, because at the same time, if I go to the chatbot and if you go to the chatbot, for each and every user there should be an individual session within which his or her conversation should be maintained over there only. That's the reason we have something which is known as session state. Any more questions still here? Okay, so what we are doing, we are just going ahead and maintaining the typing session, and we are starting or initializing the session where with the first default message which we are sending to the chatbot is this message: I am a smart chatbot, how can I help you today? So these are the first two things which we are sending it as a default to the model or to the front end. Okay, now what we will do over here is no auth, because we would be going ahead and using it locally, correct? We wouldn't be going ahead and deploying it somewhere. Okay, so yes, there is an option in Streamlit. We would can go ahead and add authorization and everything, but right now for this use case, at least we cannot. We are not having authorization or anything. Okay, st dot will add a title to the page. What could be the title to the page? Okay, offline offline LLM is what I'll give the title to the page. Then I'll go ahead and add some markdown. Okay, now we have written certain line of code. Now let's see how it looks on the front end. Okay, we'll try to run this. So to run this, there is a simple command, okay, which I'll write it over here. There is an issue over here. Let me see what is the issue. st dot for messages in st dot session state session state dot messages. Okay. Okay, so here we are working looking on localhost. Okay, I got the title offline LLM. I got a markdown like welcome to session 2 of offline GPT, and we can go ahead and start chat here. Now, what we need to do is we need to add a chatbot window at the center over here. Okay, now we would be writing code for that where we would be having the chatbot window at the center of here. You can type with me along with me. Now, just to give you an heads up, okay, whenever you are going ahead and sending any message to a chatbot, it is considered as role user. Okay, so it is universal to any of the LLM you go ahead and use. Okay, whenever you are sending any message to the chatbot, it is considered as user role, and whenever you are receiving any message from the chatbot, that is considered as a role assistant. Okay, so whatever message I send to the chatbot, it would be considered as role user. Okay. So if there is any new message, okay, and if the role is user, then we will show it as st.info, and else it could be an assistant role. The role could be assistant, then we will go ahead and show it as a success. What is the difference between this info and success? The info will go ahead and show it in a blue line, okay, a blue highlight. It will highlight the message in blue, and success will highlight the message in green by default, such that you should be able to distinguish between that what is the user message over here and what is the assistant reply over here. That's the rule of line number 33 to line number 37. If anyone have any questions from this to this line, let me know, I can help you with that. What's the difference between info and message? This message and this info is what you are talking about. So that's simple. This is how you go ahead and display it. Okay, so let me see if we can see it over here. Wait, till now we cannot go ahead and see it. Let me just write it. You would be understanding that. Okay, info and success. So info and success does the same thing. Okay, it goes ahead and returns the text as an output on the front end. Okay, but info will return it with bluely highlighting the text, and success will go ahead and highlight the text in green, such that whenever we have a user message, it is highlighted in blue, and the assistant message is highlighted in green. You should be able to distinguish between what was your message and what was the response of the bot. That's the reason I can also go ahead and write info over here, but that would I won't be able to distinguish because both would be with same color. So just to distinguish, I'm writing here info and I'm here writing here success. That's it. Both serve the same purpose. Just a confirmation from everyone. I got a message saying that my voice is not clear. Is my voice not clear? Is it better now? We'll try till here if it is working fine. So bot is that. Okay. Now what we have over here is offline LLM. Welcome to session 2 of offline GPT. We can chat here, and now I have the default message over here, which would be showing it. Okay, which would be popping out over here. Now what I need to do is I need to go ahead and add a box over here which can allow me to go ahead and send a message to this chatbot. Okay. Now we would be having a chat form where we can go ahead and submit it. So this is where I can go ahead and add an area where I can go ahead and submit it. Okay. Hold on, st.text input. Okay, now I have the button where this form will go ahead and take the message from the user. Now I just need to go ahead and add a submit button over here. So now this should work after adding a submit button. Okay, send message button is there, and we have a default message here as well. So what we achieved till now from the top, if I go ahead and show it to you, what we have achieved till now is we have created an interface where now nothing is functional right now. What you can see is uh, just the front end right now. We have a default user message over here. Okay, and now we have an option over here by which we can go ahead and send a message to this interface. Okay, and that's it. You can go ahead and change this heading, subheading according to your requirement which you wanted. Okay, just give me 1 minute. Okay. Now the next part would be now to go ahead and create an interface in which we would be having two column 1 and column 2. Yeah, you should be proficient with like Python at sometimes. Okay, you should be knowing that how to go ahead and write code in Python is something which you should be proficient with. Yes. No, we won't be keeping this, maybe not this time, but let's see if this works. Okay, so we also have here clear chat button. Yeah, you can use LLM with the Java too as well. Okay, so you can use Java to go ahead and explore this LLMs as well. Clear chat button goes ahead and clear the history. Okay, so this is done. Okay, now we would need to go ahead and add a functionality where we would be going ahead and sending a message to the chatbot. Okay, so if we'll do this first. So someone clicks on the send button and the user input will go ahead and strip that input. So if someone clicks on the send button, what we will do is we will go ahead and take that message which is typed in the message window and we will go ahead and send it with the role user and content that whatever the message is there to the session state. Okay, so this is what session state would be doing. It would be the like having both the user as a, and the assistant message tagged below one each other. HTML and front end structure. We didn't use HTML because it is not required. Obviously, you can go ahead and add HTML to bring look and feel to the front end. But right now, the basic requirement is to just to go ahead and create a chatbot like functionality. For that, I believe that is sufficient. Yeah, it would work like a real chat GPT only. Okay. But the LLM which we would be using won't be the LLM from chat GPT. It would be our own open source LLM, which would be 5.3 LLM, which we would be using. This code is something which I will post in the all-in-one documentation after the session. Okay. The same thing what I'll do is I'll do the same thing for assistant message. Okay, I'll go ahead and keep the assistant message and display the assistant message which I get as an output from the function of this. Yes, now we would be going ahead and connecting it with Ollama soon. Okay. Now we are just going ahead and developing the front end functionality. Okay, that how it would look like. Okay. Now bot response here we would be having the function. The function which we would be connecting from Ollama is something which we would be having it over here. Okay, and we would be getting the response of user message from this function. Okay, so this is the function which we need to go ahead and develop first. Okay, so we would be going ahead and developing this function. Once we get a response from this function, we would be getting that and displaying it on the front end. Okay, so to do that, I'll create a new file called ollama.py. Okay, which have a function called. Okay, I'll go ahead and create a function. This will go ahead and take the user message as input. Okay. Now what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and have the API call done. The as I mentioned, the URL for this is your localhost URL, which we saw in the Postman yesterday. Yes, if you are comfortable with HTML also you can do it, but how you will go ahead and add a backend functionality without Python? Yes, tell me that. 434. Okay, so this is the localhost URL. Llama works on the port 11434 and API generate would be the route. Okay. Now what we send as a payload to the model, this code is something which we did yesterday. If you go ahead and remember, I am repeating this code again. Okay, so we will go ahead and give the model name. Model would be 53. Then we would be having the prompt. The prompt is nothing but the message that goes. Okay, it would be nothing but the user message. Okay, then we would be setting the stream. So if you remember from the yesterday's session about the stream which we discussed, that what streaming means. Okay, URL is same every time, it won't change. Okay, URL would be remaining the same. Okay, if yes, there can be a flexibility to go ahead and change the URL. Okay, now what's next is we discussed about streaming yesterday, correct? If you remember, showing it token by token, but this is something which we would be keeping it as false. Okay, now the next part would be to go ahead and generate a response from the API. This would be a post URL. It would take the URL, the headers. This should work. Okay, so this is how we would be going ahead and getting the bot response. Is everyone done typing till here? The URL, this URL you are talking about, this URL. Okay, so this URL is so when you go ahead and install Ollama, it runs locally on your system through a port 11434, and these are the route API.generate. So if you go ahead and hit this URL with a proper model name and the prompt, it will go ahead and give you a natural language response. So this is what this URL is all about. Yeah, so we have done that downloading part yesterday only. Okay. Okay, so we can, directly you can check the recordings from yesterday, how we have downloaded it and we have installed it. So we did it yesterday only. Okay, if done till here, okay, what we would be doing next is we just would need to go ahead and add a exception block and complete this code. Okay, so this is the basic code. Now what we will do is we will just call that function over here in the main file from Ollama import this function, and we will write that function over here column Ollama, which will go ahead and take the response, and now it will go ahead and return you the response which is fetched from the LLM directly. Okay, so let just give me a confirmation if you, yeah, you need to input in this code. Yes, just give me a confirmation till the time you are done typing till here. Okay, done typing till here, everyone. Okay, so now what next we would be doing is just 2 3 more lines of code, then we are almost done with this. Okay, now what next is we just need to go ahead and display that message on the front end is, I believe. Okay, so st dot session state dot messages dot append. Okay, I think so we are now done with what all the requirement was. Now if we go ahead and run this, it should go ahead and give us a response. Okay, so whenever, as I said, if you go ahead, it is typing. Okay, yes. So it worked. So this is the response which we received from Ollama. Okay. So this is how basically it would work. Okay. So now within this few line of code, we created an interactive front end. Okay, where you go ahead and send a message and you get a message from the assistant. Okay, now the idea here is to just go ahead and show you that how a session state would work like. Okay, how within a session it can go ahead and just show you on the front end a chatbot session how user message goes, how assistant message goes. Okay, there is a n number of styling font thing which you can go ahead and do. Obviously I would be showing it to you now after some time. Okay, I would be showing it. I have the code files ready with me in which I can go ahead and show you that. Okay, but just before that, I wanted to make clear that the basic structure, the vanilla structure, you are clear about. We can obviously go ahead and add a lot of HTML, Java, CSS, whichever you want to go ahead and add. Okay, now here if I go ahead and ask any question, like this. It should be able to go ahead and do so. Now for this we are not calling any of the GPT API or anything. We are using Ollama, and Ollama has installed a model locally to our system, and we are just going ahead and leveraging that model locally. This is what we are doing right now. So now what I would be doing is I would be going ahead and sharing with you more fancy codes. Okay. Okay. Fancy codes as in where you can go ahead and style your front end according to your requirements. Okay. Just give me 1 minute. Okay. I'm sharing my screen again to you. Let's just confirm if when you are able to see my screen. Okay. Now, if you could see my screen, I have some codes written over here. Okay. Starting from basic till going ahead and creating, I would be going ahead and sharing these codes with you. Okay. Now, this code is using Streamlit along with some HTML and CSS. So I'll run this code and show it to you that how it works. Okay. So for the people who wanted an enhanced version, so what I showed you while we were typing that code is just a basic thing, which is the bare minimum thing. Okay. Okay. So this is the same thing which I have developed. Okay, using Streamlit. Okay, so you can go ahead and send a message like this. Okay, it will go ahead and respond to you. Okay. Stream true, if you go ahead and do, okay, that won't be going ahead and creating any problem. Okay, you can type stream true, but it would be going ahead and returning you the output in the form of a chunk. So when the output is returned to you in the form of a chunk wise, then obviously you need to apply a for loop, and then you need to show it one by one. That may go ahead and make the code little bit complex. So that's the reason I kept the stream as false. To the same chatbot. Okay, I created one more project. I'll go ahead and show you as that as well. Streamlit run app dynamic.py. So the interface for this would look similar to what we have created right now. Okay, what this does is whatever the model. So if you remember from yesterday, I downloaded two models. Okay, one was a 5.3 model, and second one was a Quen 3 model. These are the two models which I downloaded yesterday, and those are currently in my local system. Okay, so this interface will go ahead and give you an option to go select the model which you want to use. Okay, it will do a health check that if the Ollama is working properly and what is the current model you are using and what is the endpoint you are hitting. And then if you go ahead and send any message, it will go ahead and respond it from that only, from using that model. So if I go ahead and download one more model to my local system, it will now go ahead and show that model in the drop down, and I can also go ahead and use that as well. So it would take time to respond. So it has responded. So this is what it has went ahead and responded as an output. Okay, so not much of a changes in terms of a front end is what I have done over here. Okay, so these are the files which I would be going ahead and showing to you. Okay, so everything would be having a page config. Okay, then you would be having a function which will locally go ahead and call your Ollama model. Then there would be a session state for your user message, and then there would be a session state for your assistant message. Okay, so this is how it would go ahead and work. Okay, then you would be having a user message and assistant message within the conversation history, and then all this extra thing which would be there in the code. Okay, so there, this is not application, this is the code which I have written, and I would be making sure that this is uploaded within the all-in-one document page. Okay, which you have in this. There you can go and you can go ahead and download this code from there. Okay, all in one documentation. You would be having all this code. So I have maintained this file. Okay, where you can go ahead and have HTML and CSS for the people who need a advanced version of this. Okay, with a proper a good looking feel of front end, they can use this. People who want an option to go ahead and choose between the models from the front end itself, they can use this. Okay, and so on. Okay, so these are all the types of file which I have, and I also have an instruction file within. I have mentioned all the step which needs to be followed while going ahead and doing the steps. Any doubts, anyone till here? Image and voice messages. Okay, so image model. So Llama, Ollama have models over here. Okay, so if I go ahead and show Ollama to you. Okay, so what it says, if I go to my 5.3 model where it says that it is an input text model. Okay, so input text model would only go ahead and take text as an input. Audio, you can go ahead and send it. You can have an additional layer where that audio is converted into text and then fed to the model. Okay, but this model right now is not compatible with images, and I'm not sure if they have any of the model which is compatible with images. We have all text models over here majorly. Yeah, I would be uploading the codes, every code, okay, and it would be available by tomorrow. Source code, this is the source code. I would be going ahead and sharing it with you. Okay. Yes, you should learn some libraries in Python. Yes, Streamlit is one of the library. Okay, so if you go to the official documentation, if you see their documentation over here. Okay, so whatever the code I have written, I directly got it from the documentation. They have their projects. Okay, they have their playground as well, where you just go ahead and type and it will go ahead and give the application for you. Okay, they have all the LLMs based project available over here. You can directly get the code from here. So the community is very vast for Streamlit. Getting the code, or if there is any bug, if you need to go ahead and solve, that becomes comparatively easy. One thing. Second thing over here, good thing about Streamlit is, or if you could see my code, closely. Okay, all I have done is just, if I need to go ahead and add a header, I have just written it over here as an header. If I need to go ahead and add a title, I have just written that. So things are very straightforward within Streamlit. So just within 80 lines of code, I have created an end-to-end working simple application which will take a user message and respond with the bot reply. Okay, so this is what Streamlit is capable of. That's the reason we are using it for today's session. Any doubts still here, anyone? Yes, you can host this. Okay, so Streamlit itself goes ahead and help you with an option of deploying. So deploying try, it will give you a free option where you would be going ahead and deploying on a community basis, where it will go ahead and give you all the steps of going ahead and deploying your own application which is developed on Streamlit. So yes, it gives you an option of deploying it as well. Any doubts, anyone? So I'll just give you a brief view about what we have done till now. Okay, so we started off doubt about joining the message. Should I ask? File would be shared in the same video link. If you go ahead and come later, you would be seeing an option of all-in-one document. Okay, all-in-one documentation. There is a URL. Within that, I would be making sure that all the files are uploaded after the session. Okay. Yeah. So now what we did is we are calling the raw LLM as it is. Okay, the now we started off with LLMs, then comparative study of open source and closed source LLM. Now we created a front end for our LLM as well. Okay, where we can go ahead and utilize it, just like you go ahead and utilize chat GPT. Now the next part here would be to go ahead and make them or I would say that fine tune them, or we increase the performance of them just by going ahead and adding some prompts. Like how we can go ahead and add a prompt to our own custom LLM such that it goes ahead and behaves in a certain manner. Okay, this is something which we would be going ahead and doing in the final session. Okay, where we would be going ahead and utilizing these LLMs, prompt tuning them, and working towards the prompt engineering side of the same. So you would be also be exposed to the prompt engineering section of LLM, where we would be going ahead and prompt tuning them. So in Google Colab, I'm not sure that how you would be able to go ahead and run that, but you can write the you can just go ahead and have VS Code. Like in Google Colab, you cannot also go ahead and call the LLM as well, correct? Because it is running locally, and Google Colab is on Google Cloud. So you won't actually be able to go ahead and utilize this on Google Colab. Okay, any no doubts? Then I believe this is what I wanted to cover from today's session. Okay, if you guys feel that you have any doubt, you can let me know, or else that's it. Thank you so much for your time, team. You can use that as well, the code which I have provided. See, Ollama in an app. See, I'll show you. Wait. Well, Ollama. Okay, when you download it, then it comes to your system like this. So Ollama, if you go ahead and type, it is now active Ollama. If you just go ahead and type Ollama, then it will go ahead and tell you that Ollama is not recognized. Okay, now as I have Ollama, then it is saying that it is recognized. And run is the command by which you can go ahead and run any model. Pull is the command by which you can go ahead and pull any model repository. Okay. And then you can go ahead and chat like this, and now here you would be seeing a word to word response. Okay. So this is what Ollama is. Ollama is installed in your system, where you can go ahead and utilize it from your CLI Postman or from a Python code directly. Okay. All the codes for this I would be going ahead and sharing, but make sure when you are trying to what is your question, can I use React? Yeah, of course you can use React to go ahead and do that as well. That won't be an issue. Okay. But make sure whenever you are trying to run this application will run on your system, but it is very important that we have Ollama installed and we have this model downloaded. Okay. Thank you so much for your time. We'll meet tomorrow, same time, where we would be going ahead and discussing about the part where we would be going ahead and doing the prompt tuning section. Okay. Thank you so much, team.